How did an isolated island, swept by the Atlantic winds, become the architect of the modern world? The answer isn't found in forgotten chronicles, but in the millions of tons of raw matter that form its foundation. This is an analysis of the structures that refuse to fall, the pillars of a kingdom defined by structural force. The British landscape is not a simple succession of green hills. It is a graph of pure engineering, where every arch and every iron beam tells the same story: survival through precision. It all began in 1066 with the Norman invasion, when William the Conqueror imported a technology of absolute control, the stone castle. In less than a century, over 500 fortifications were raised to seal control over the territory, transforming the landscape into a network of impregnable strategic points. From the Caen limestone transported by sea to raise the 4-meter-thick walls of the White Tower in 1078, to the hard grit stone of the north, every block of stone was a military decision. We aren't talking about aesthetics. We are talking about a 900-year struggle with gravity, erosion, and siege. In the 13th century, cathedrals defied the limits of the soil, raising spires over 120 meters high on foundations that seem impossible for that era. Then in 1779, the technological leap of the Iron Bridge marked ground zero of the Industrial Revolution, the moment when metal began to permanently replace stone. Today, these colossi are not just monuments. They are the technological footprint of a nation that learned to carve the future into raw matter. Dover Castle has been known as the key to England for over 9 centuries. Built on the shortest crossing point to mainland Europe, its massive Great Tower was completed in 1189 with walls up to 6 meters thick. The engineering marvel here lies beneath the surface, where a network of tunnels was carved directly into the white chalk cliffs. This vertical fortress was designed to be impregnable, a massive weight of stone and subterranean passages that served as the primary command center for the nation's defense. Oxford is much more than a university city. It is a sprawling labyrinth of golden limestone and architectural precision. Known as the City of Dreaming Spires, its skyline is defined by structures like the St. Mary's Church Tower, which has looked over the center since 1280. The true weight of the city lies in its quadrangles, massive stone courtyards, engineered with thick walls and narrow gatehouses to create silent, fortified islands of knowledge. Walking through these streets, you feel the pressure of 8 centuries of construction, where the porous Headington stone has been carved and recarved to maintain a city that feels like a single, continuous monument. London is a massive architectural stage where the iconic Tower Bridge stands as a masterpiece of Victorian hydraulic engineering, using over 11,000 tons of steel to bridge the Thames. High above the South Bank, the London Eye rotates a massive 2,100-ton steel structure, providing a technical view over the entire urban landscape. The city's modern skyline is dominated by the Shard, a vertical spire of 11,000 glass panels that reaches a height of 310 meters above the river. From the heavy stone towers of Westminster to the glass observatories of the city, the metropolis operates as a high-density grid of historical monuments and modern engineering. It is a destination where massive structural weight meets a fluid tourist flow, creating the most recognizable skyline in England. York is at a fortified stone labyrinth defined by the massive circuit of its medieval walls, which stretch for over 3 kilometers around the historic center. The city is dominated by York Minster, the largest Gothic cathedral in northern England, featuring the Great East Window, which contains the world's largest expanse of medieval stained glass. The narrow alleys of the Shambles represent a lesson in structural density, where timber frame buildings have leaned over the pavement for over 600 years. To support the immense weight of the cathedral's central tower, engineers used a system of external buttresses that transfer thousands of tons of pressure directly into the ground. It is a city where raw limestone and ancient defensive architecture create one of the most intact medieval landscapes in all of England. Manchester is the industrial heart of England, where Victorian red brick warehouses have been integrated into a high-tech glass skyline. The city is defined by its 2 global football giants, housing Old Trafford, the largest club stadium in England with 74,000 seats, and the ultra-modern Etihad Stadium, a masterpiece of tensioned steel and cable engineering. The skyline is dominated by the Batham Tower, a 169-meter skyscraper with a massive cantilever design that makes the upper floors wider than the base. From the glass towers of Deansgate Square to the historic iron bridges of Castlefield, the urban landscape is a study in structural evolution. It is a destination where the raw energy of the world's most famous football rivalry meets the precision of 21st century engineering, creating a powerful urban contrast in the north of England. Liverpool is a maritime powerhouse where the skyline is defined by the Three Graces, led by the Royal Liver Building, which was one of the first structures in the world, built using reinforced concrete in 1911. The city's waterfront is a masterpiece of hydraulic engineering centered around the Albert Dock, a massive complex of brick, stone, and cast iron that changed global trade logistics. This structural heritage now meets the modern age with the new Everton Stadium on the Bramley Moor Dock and the iconic Anfield. From the wide promenades along the River Mersey to the creative energy of the city center, the urban layout reflects centuries of global trade and cultural influence. It is a destination where heavy industrial legacy meets a modern rhythmic lifestyle, creating the most famous maritime landscape in England. Cambridge is a center of academic precision defined by monumental Gothic architecture and structures that defy time. The focal point is King's College Chapel, featuring the world's largest fan-vaulted ceiling, supported by massive stone buttresses reaching a height of 24 meters. The city is carved by the River Cam, where engineering is showcased in unique structures like the Mathematical Bridge, a geometric masterpiece built in 1749 using a complex arrangement of straight timber beams. From the fortified courtyards of the colleges to the libraries housing millions of manuscripts, the city is a dense network of carved stone and structural innovation. It is a landscape defined by excellence, where every building represents a standard of historical engineering in England. Birmingham is a massive urban engine that has transformed from an industrial heartland into a bold, modern metropolis. The city center is a high-energy mix of futuristic architecture and historic red brick heritage, creating a skyline that is constantly evolving. Walking through the core, you see a landscape of wide public squares and glass-fronted developments that reflect the city's status as a major global hub. Its unique character is defined by a vast network of scenic canals that cut through the city, lined with vibrant walkways and repurposed industrial spaces. It is a destination where massive infrastructure meets a fast-paced metropolitan flow, standing as the powerful second heart of England. Bath is a visual masterpiece carved entirely from golden limestone, standing as one of the most elegant landscapes in the world. The city is famous for its perfectly preserved Roman heritage and the iconic Roman baths, where ancient engineering still channels natural thermal springs into grandstone basins. The urban layout is defined by the Royal Crescent, a massive sweeping curve of 30 terraced houses that showcases the peak of 18th century luxury and architectural symmetry. Every street feels like a film set, where ornate bridges like Pulteney Bridge house small shops over the flowing River Avon. From the towering Gothic arches of Bath Abbey to the steep cobblestone hills overlooking the valley, the city remains a timeless sanctuary of art and stone. It is a destination where history is built into every wall, creating the most sophisticated and photogenic atmosphere in England. The Cotswolds is the ultimate expression of the English countryside, a vast region of rolling green hills and timeless honey-colored stone villages. The landscape is defined by its architectural harmony, where every cottage, church, and dry stone wall is crafted from the same golden limestone found beneath the earth. From the iconic weavers' cottages of Bibury to the gentle flow of the river Windrush, the area feels like a living postcard from a simpler era. There are no high-rises here, only narrow winding lanes, historic wool churches, and vast open pastures that have remained unchanged for centuries. It is a destination of quiet beauty and perfect symmetry, representing the peaceful rural soul of England. Looking back at everything we've seen, you realize that England isn't just a destination. It's a massive living puzzle of different eras and energies. We started in the middle of the non-stop hustle of the world's biggest metropolises, surrounded by glass skyscrapers and high-tech engineering, and ended up in quiet corners where time seems to have stood still for the last 500 years. It's crazy to see how a single country can hold so much contrast. You have the raw, industrial grit of the north, the academic perfection of the university towns, and that iconic rolling countryside that looks exactly like the movies. But the best part isn't just the architecture or the history. It's the way all these pieces fit together. It's a place that respects its roots, but isn't afraid to reinvent itself every single day. After traveling through all these cities and seeing how each one has its own unique soul, you start to understand why this place has influenced the world so much. We've covered a lot of ground, seen the massive stadiums, the ancient cathedrals, and the hidden alleys. England is a place that you don't just visit, you experience it, and it stays with you. This trip might be over, but the story of these places is far from finished.